Not my love. Oh, whoa. Where'd you come from? Shit, my bad. Guess I'll pull up a seat. Welcome to the Street Demon YouTube channel. Possibly some of you are coming from my TikTok page, but majority of you have never heard of me before. You have no idea who the fuck I am, why there's a 6-liter parked behind me, or anything that I've done with my life so far in my 21 years. So here I am to explain it to you because I may be a slight bit stupid and I want to do this. So, if you're coming from TikTok, the main reason why I have this channel on YouTube now is because I have been told by a slight few, many people, that I make too long of TikToks. This is true, but there's nothing I can do about it. So, because that's just who I am and that's what I want to do. I want to make videos that are long, entertaining, and everything for people because I'm just that guy. So, that is what I am here for today. I am here to basically introduce my YouTube channel and also give a recap of what has all happened in 2025 because with TikTok, I am not that good at actually making videos throughout the entire year. Very good case in point. This last winter, I started working on this thing, and I did a lot of stuff to it in the entire front end of the pickup, and I did really good all the way up to when I put everything back together and threw it in the truck and shoved it out the door and then drove it, and didn't make any videos after that up until like the end of summer. Didn't make a single TikTok after that. So I'm not very good at giving people updates. But that is what I'm hoping to rectify with this channel, is to try and make it so people can actually get updates on what's going on. If you're interested in actually watching the longer form content of videos. If you guys want to see me fiddle fuck around for 30 to 40 minutes, hopefully not that much, but 30 to 40 minutes messing around with a 6-liter or my 1996 Crew Cab Short Bed 7.3 Power Stroke that I have sitting in the back of the shed because it made me sad and I put it in timeout back there, or multitude of the other projects that I have going around here because my father consistently needs help, which I don't care about, but I'm still here to help. That's what I want this channel to be. And basically my TikTok is going to revert to just being strict updates. Quick, like 2-minute long videos max of me saying what's going on, where to find the video, where I put everything together. That's the main point of this channel, is basically to put my long form content somewhere where people can actually enjoy and watch it, and they are not consistently tempted by the, oh, I need to swipe and swipe and swipe. But to get the meat and potatoes of this video, and as to why I am sitting on a Snap-on ass cart in front of my dark gray 2007 F-250, is to give a full recap of everything that has happened in the last 8 months, roughly, with everything, with projects, vehicles, everything related to that. Basically to give a quick well, not necessarily quick, but an update to everything, so it's not on my TikTok, and so you guys, if you actually care, you can watch the whole video. So, to start it off, immediately, we're going to go with this truck, because this truck right here has been damn near completely stellar to me all year long. For those of you that haven't watched my TikTok or haven't heard of my TikTok, this winter I pulled this truck in for, I kid you not, my original plan was to do shocks, reseal the rear axle. I did the shocks, didn't touch anything in the back end of the pickup, and somehow managed to find myself completely redoing the entire front end, including painting the frame, axles, trailing arms, replacing a bunch of stuff that probably didn't need to get replaced, and doing a bunch of other extra shit that I probably didn't need to do. So that is why the 3/4 of this truck's frame are painted gloss black from rattle can paint that I found at Fleet Farm. The front coil springs and a few other things are powder coated by myself because I taught myself how to powder coat, because jack of all trades, if you will, I am that. Completely redid all of the suspension, minus parts that have already been replaced on this truck within the last like 2 years of me owning it. Bunch of extra stuff that I probably didn't even need to do. I replaced all the U-joints in the front end. Probably didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway because I didn't care, and I had it apart. And I mean, I'm dead serious, repainted everything in the front end of this pickup. Also repolished the front wheels, or the front bumper. My bad, I'll get to the wheels in a minute. Did a bunch of other stuff this winter, and by the time I actually got it out this spring, the only other stuff I had left to do was I put these headlights in, which were not these were actually way nicer than what I had. They're the same thing pretty much, minus the clear lenses on the side, not the amber lenses. And I replaced the turn signals with switchback LEDs and the marker lights for white LEDs because truck scene things. And I think it looks nice. So that basically catches you up to everything leading up to the beginning of summer when I started driving this truck. And everything went stellar for the first probably month and a half that I drove this truck. Everything went perfect. It didn't cause me any issues. The only thing I had to do was recenter the steering wheel because I had the axle dropped out of it this winter and everything like that. And I put new coil spring bushings and everything in. So it kind of raised it up a little bit in the front, but it kind of settled back down. But I readjusted the steering wheel and everything. Other than that, nothing major actually happened with this truck. Now we come up to probably about a week and a half after the 4th of July, summer of 2025. And I got the random idea in my brain to, oh, well, polishing wheels can't be that bad. That was a lie. 2 weeks of me and a couple of my buddies slaving over a set of 4 aluminum bullet holes, polishing and cleaning and everything, getting them all nice and spiffy, spick and span. Got them all polished. And the only reason I went and polished them is because of the fact that I had an in for some nice half-tread Mickey Thompson tires, which are currently still on the truck. And in my head, I was like, well, if I'm going to take the wheels off, if I'm going to take tires off and everything, well, you know, I might as well polish the wheels and everything. And that led to that. So 2 weeks of the entire summer shot in the ass because I polished the wheels on this pickup. I drove it for a day, not even a day. I took it to one car show, and on the way back home, I started smelling something hot. Got home, didn't really think anything of it, couldn't smell it anymore, drove it to my buddy's house, to which I got out, immediately smelled it again, and found that the left rear caliper was sticking. So I had to do what normal, sensible people would do. Didn't drive it for 2 weeks with a stuck caliper, and then replaced all of the rear brakes, including calipers, because I'm dumb. And I figured, why replace one caliper when I can replace all of them? And everything. So I got new rotors, new calipers, new pads, everything. All across the board, all new in the rear. And then it worked for a while. Up until Sunday, September 28th, 2025, to which I was helping my brother haul chopper boxes with said 6-liter, and took one of the chopper boxes to the farm and got out, thought I smelled something that very highly resembled coolant smell. Proceeded to check under the hood, everything seemed fine, shut the hood, left. Got back home with an empty chopper box, smelled it again, got out, and lo and behold, the radiator had decided that it didn't want to work anymore and started leaking along both top and the bottom plastic caps. And then it got parked for the rest of the fall and into the winter, and it is still here where I parked it. Well, not necessarily where I parked it, but this is where it ended up. before all the snow flied and everything like that, because Wisconsin weather. So that's pretty much everything that has occurred with this truck. Now, I have the parts on the way to fix the radiator and a few other things, because I have the mindset of, while I'm in there, might as well fix this and this and this and this, and the list got pretty long. So that will be videos coming soon, hopefully, as long as everything works out well. I will be fixing this and getting a new radiator in it, transcooler lines, filters for the transmission, a bunch of other stuff, possibly an oil cooler, water pump, all that stuff, all kinds of fun things that are going to go into this truck. That is coming relatively soon. Now, that's pretty much everything that's happened with this truck. Super nice truck, super stellar truck. I mean, been very nice to me, has ran, I mean, perfect pretty much every time that it was running. Never missed a beat. Especially when I would decide, you know what, it's 6 liter time, and I mashed my foot on the floor and floored it everywhere because it made cool noises, and I'm a child at heart. So that's everything with this truck. Now to get into my other truck, my main project truck, and I'll probably show a video, a clip or something of it, you know, somewhere in here. That truck during the spring, after all the salt was off the roads and everything, and it was good to drive, I didn't have any problems with it, I decided to start driving that truck around just as a little bit of a beater, because I genuinely wanted to drive a truck at that point. And in doing so, the truck caused me an ungodly amount of problems, like it always has. If you guys watch my TikToks, it's kind of a giant pile of shit. Just a little bit. But I drove that truck around for probably a month, month and a half. It continuously caused me charging problems. It would not want to hold a charge in the batteries. Part of that's probably because the batteries were junk, but we don't worry about that. Never held a charge. Would not. It had really hard running issues. Not necessarily that it ran terrible, but it definitely ran off. It was very underpowered for what it should have been. Granted, it's a 7.3. It shouldn't have had much snort anyways, but it was very weird how little snort it had, and just seemed overall off. And after I got this thing back up and going, I proceeded to park that truck again, and I didn't really drive it for a very long time. It took about a month and a half, maybe 2 months, if I believe, if my memory is serving me correct, for me to actually start the truck again. Sat in the yard, didn't do anything, didn't move, didn't touch it, nothing. And one day we had a big square bale that blew apart, blah, blah, blah. I had to bring the hay home. I'm not going to bore you with that detail. I was using that truck to cart a blown up hay bale from a field back to my house. No more than 3 miles. And did that all pretty much in one night. And for some reason, I had noticed that the truck started to steer a little funny. Now, ever since I got the truck going on the road and I was able to drive the truck, it has always tried pulling to the right. So you always had to have the steering wheel about eighth or a quarter turn to the left to get it to go straight, because it pulled really hard to the right. Never figured out why, and to be honest with you, the truck was 6 colors and kind of ran like a piece of shit, so I wasn't worried about the alignment. And I paid $200 for a set of 4 cheap fucking tires for it. I didn't care. So one day, I go to drive the truck, and all of a sudden, oh, well, it's steering really, really weird. I mean, it was very odd steering. And with that steering, I was driving in a straight line with the steering wheel turned about a half turn all the way to the right. And it was driving in a straight line. And I'm like, okay, something is definitely off. To which I proceeded to check everything over in the front end that I could physically see by myself. Nothing was loose, nothing had come loose. There was literally nothing wrong with the truck from what I could see with my own eyes. I had my mother come out, shook the steering wheel, after I had already shook the steering wheel. And normally, if you guys have been around trucks or anything in your life, when you shake the steering wheel, normally the truck rocks kind of on a pivot point. And it rocks back and forth, but it generally tends to stay in the same center location and pivot kind of like this, or around the front axle. It spins in more of like a half moon, it rocks in a half moon, rather than anything else. And I was checking the steering and the whole truck was moving straight line side to side. And I thought that was a little weird. Come to find out, and I'll put a video in here somewhere after I explain it, I'll put a video. The previous owner that had the truck proceeded to weld the track bar, the piece that holds the axle center under the pickup, welded it to the trailing arm because this was a solid axle swapped truck from 90s Ford parts. And the only way you could really do that to have coil spring front end, because that's what it has, is if you use the two-wheel drive trailing arms, which are about a 1/4 inch thick C-channel with holes cut in it from factory. And that's what the trailing arm is. It's not a beefy I mean, not saying that these trailing arms on the Super Duties are real beefy or anything. They're really thin steel, but it's a full tube, design compared to what it was in the 90s, where it was 1/4 inch thick plate, but it was just a C-channel, and that was it. And he welded the track bar to that. Now, come to find out, the track bar had sheared off the bottom of the trailing arm, split it in fucking half, and was flexing the entire trailing arm as the truck moved. Faster. So I was pretty much one harsh bump away from the axle trying to yank out from underneath the pickup. Needless to say, after that, I got very sour at that truck, and I threw it in a spot where I didn't have to look at it, and I parked it. It has sat in the back of the shed since then. The only time it has moved was when I pulled it out just a little bit so I could clean the garbage and everything out of it, get some stuff out of it that I needed, and throw a bunch of dryer sheets in it to keep the mice away, and then I backed it back into its hole, shut it off, unhooked the batteries, and left it. Now that you kind of have a recap of everything that's happened in the summer of 2025, I would like to go into the future a little bit. What are my plans? What's everything going to look like going forward for me, for my projects, everything like that? Am I looking at getting new projects? Yada, yada, yada. And to answer that question, at the moment, I'm not looking at getting any newer projects at this time. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm always looking for projects. I'm always looking for something else to do. But at this moment, I am not looking for anything else. I'm not looking for any new vehicles. I am not looking for any new cars, nothing. No cars, no trucks. The only real project I have coming is I'm going to get a four-wheeler soon that I have to fix. That's it. So I don't have any real projects that I plan on starting. But I have projects that I plan on continuing work on. First off, being this here 6-liter. Like I said, it's getting a radiator, it's getting a trans cooler, new tranny cooler lines, new filters, new trans fluid. It is getting a water pump, thermostat, oil cooler, a few other things that came with the giant kit that I ordered from Mishimoto, plus other things that I'm ordering along the way. That's what this truck is getting, and that is just to get it so it can go down the road again. My plan is to have a rust-free bed painted and on this truck with the rear end of the frame all done, hopefully I'm not going to make any promises on it, but I am going to say hopefully before spring. It is probably going to be mid to late spring before it is actually done. But that is my plan. That is my current sitting plan. And there's other things that have to get done to this. There was some mice in the headliner, so I yanked the headliner out, found out that the headliner was severely cobble fucked together. There's some wiring on the inside that has to get fixed up for the seats and like the whole cab. There's just a lot of jank wiring and shit that's been done that has to get fixed. And other than that, this truck's good to go. And honestly, if I don't get around to doing the headliner or anything right away, but I can drive the truck, I'm going to drive the truck without headliner. I really don't care. I'm more concerned about getting it so it can run. That's the plan with this truck, is basically get it so it runs, fix the interior up a little bit, get a bed on it that's not rotted, not falling off. Now, obviously, this truck is not going to take me all year. I would hope it doesn't. I mean, it might, but I would hope to God it does not, because that would really upset me. I'm going to try to get this truck done as fast as I physically can. The next project on the chopping block is my 6-color truck, my 7.3. And that truck needs a lot of help. It needs all of the body work done. I am Super Duty axle swapping it. It needs to get everything done on the frame, cleaned up, painted, or powder coated, one of the two. It needs a bunch of stuff done suspension wise, obviously because I'm Super Duty axle swapping it. It needs all the body work done, paint done, rust repair, all that stuff needs to get done. It needs the motor and transmission, everything pulled out. I need the transmission gone through by someone that knows how to do it, not fucking me. And maybe, if I can, mildly built, because it has a 5-speed in it. I really don't want to break the fucker, because I'm going to be pushing about 500, roughly 500 horsepower out of the engine by the time I'm done with it. I'm doing everything I can to make it that way, because once again, it is a 7.3. It is slow. I'm allowed to make those comments because I've driven 2 of them. They're slow. I don't like it. It needs to be faster. Other than that, it needs an interior done in it, needs a few other odds and ends, such and such, whatever. I am hoping to start on that project this year. That is my goal. That is my tentative goal, is to start on that project this year. Whether that's get the body yanked off of it or start working on the rust repair, even with the body on, I don't know. But that is my tentative plan, is to start working on that truck more this year. Now, as far as new projects go, I have a long list of things I would love to do. I have a long list of things that may end up actually coming to fruition that would happen. I can't guarantee that any of them will happen for certain 100%, but I can say that they are there. And I'm not going to voice any of them right now, mainly just because I don't want to get my own hopes up to have all of these magnificent projects and whatever all set up, ready to go, and none of them actually happen. So I have ideas for projects coming. Are any of them going to happen this year? I have no idea. At the end of the day, I don't know if I'm going to be able to upload to this channel as religiously as I would like to, mainly just because I have a full-time job. I cannot devote my life to doing this. Now, am I going to try? Yes, I'm going to try my damnedest to make sure I can. My main idea is I would like to have a video uploaded every Monday. Is that going to happen all the time? Probably not. I will admit that. I will admit that there are probably going to be weeks where there is more than one video. There are going to be weeks where there's probably no video. But I will try my best to keep it so I can have at least one video every week. And that video will be released on Mondays. Mainly because that's just when it's going to work out best for me. I am able to do all of my recording and stuff throughout the week. Saturdays and Sundays I have time, most of the time I have time to do the editing, finishing up and all that stuff, and I can upload it, and that's where it's going to be at. I will try my best to actually make content for this channel and release it as much as I can, but I cannot guarantee that it is going to happen 100%, especially not right now. Mainly just because a lot of things are up in the air. Holiday season's over, bank account's running a little dry, but I will try my best to make content, and a lot of that too falls into the fact that I will try my best to keep it all automotive content or automotive related content. Like I said, the only project that I know for certain is coming is a four-wheeler that's going to be coming into my possession within the next few months. Obviously, that's not a vehicle, technically. It's not a car, it's not a truck, it's not any of those. It's a four-wheeler, but it would be technically automotive content. It is me working on a motorized vehicle of sorts, me fixing it, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. And that type of stuff will more than likely be filler content if I'm running a little dry or running out of things I can do at that current time for any of my vehicles. The other thing is too, as you guys probably see in the side here, there's a blue dent side Ford, and that is my father's. He also has a lot of other vehicles that I will more than likely end up working on. And I will make videos doing it, because a lot of them are cool. A lot of them have really neat, things about them that I feel like a lot of people probably don't know exactly what they're looking at for them and stuff like that. And it's something that I would like to pass on the knowledge, I guess, to other people, just because it's something that I want to do. And I will try. The main point of this is I will try, and I know I have things to make content on. I have friends that have plenty of vehicles I can try to make some content working on. I have vehicles here I can make content working on. And I will try to keep 99% of my content strictly automotive. Will it kind of steer away every once in a while to something different? Maybe. Depending on what I all have planned and what I can really upload. But I will try my best to keep it 99% all automotive. Now, as far as everything else goes, there's always plenty of things that I can do to make content with. I have, like I said, I've got a lot of stuff I can do, and I will try my best to keep it all strictly automotive. But there will be times, and most of the time, if I kind of dart off the path of working on vehicles or doing stuff with vehicles, it is going to be somehow related to vehicles. Like I said before, I might have a couple filler videos of me working on a four-wheeler, doing some stuff to that, or just doing stuff with my powder coating stuff that I've got. I've done pretty good at it. Am I the best? No. But I've done good enough with this, with parts that I put on this, and I'm not terrible. And there's going to be videos where it's a filler of me working on something else that's engine related, or just me powder coating some stuff, or even me just sitting down and talking about automotive topics. Off the top of my head, I could come up with about 6 different things that I could come up with that I could make a minimum 20-minute long video, just me bullshitting about. That's one thing that I'm really good at, is just chronically bullshitting. I can talk about anything for hours and hours and hours. Very good at it. But I want to keep this channel strictly automotive, or like I said, automotive adjacent. Nothing extra. I'm not going to have 6 different genres of content crammed into one video. Now, don't get me wrong, am I saying that I will never do a video with bike-related things? Motorcycles, street bikes, anything like that? No, I'm not saying that. Am I saying that I would never do anything snowmobile-related? I live in Wisconsin. I'm not saying I'm not going to do anything with snowmobiles. That's kind of stupid. I live in a state where we're pretty well fucking known for it. But the main bread and butter of this channel is going to be vehicles. Trucks, cars, shit that goes fast and shit that runs good. That's main part of this channel is going to be. So, with that being all said, I will hopefully, depending on if parts get here in time, I will hopefully have a video ready to rock for next week, Monday. Hopefully, fingers crossed, of me going through all of the parts that I have for this thing, unboxing a bunch of the parts and stuff, possibly starting to work on it a little bit. I don't know yet. More just depends, again, on when parts get here, all that stuff. And basically explaining the main plan for this year more in depth, and the plan for this truck long term. That will hopefully be out next week. Hopefully parts come in time, everything like that, and I could start working on it. But for right now, I'm going to leave you guys with what I have just said. That's it for this video. Like I said, hopefully next week, Monday, I'll have a video out going over parts and everything, and full-on tentative plans and more in-depth look at everything with this truck. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this is Street Demon signing out of the first video on this channel ever. Peace.